Here we are in week 7, almost to the end. I'm sure that you're all ready to be completed with this course and begin enjoying your summer with a little more freedom. This will be a short video because we don't have a lot to talk about this week. I've kind of scanned through the leadership project assignments that have been uploaded so far, and they look good. I know that I have really pushed a lot of you regarding APA, but I'm seeing some really good changes and some really good work in that. So I'm very pleased to see that. Also, once again, I commend you guys for getting your assignments in on time. It's the first class I've had that everybody has gotten everything in on time every week. So that is fantastic. I hope you hold firm with that for the rest of your courses because it's really important. And while I'm thinking about this, I need to remind you or tell you, if you didn't already know, that your last assignment, assignment 6 with either the movie or the article, is due on Wednesday, June 26th. This is earlier than normal. It's because everything has to be in no later than the 28th, that Friday. I have to close out grades that Friday. So it shouldn't be a problem with you guys because you're so good at this, but it does mean that that final project has to be in early. Also, I think I have until like Sunday to get your grades in, so you'll get them very quickly, but you do need to make sure that everything is in by Wednesday, the 26th of June. So for this week, you have one video to watch. It's a 6-minute TED Talk called Everyday Leadership. And this is by a leadership educator who believes that leadership is not a characteristic reserved for the extraordinary. He works to help people discover the leader within themselves. And I am seeing that in your work, in your responses, and in your papers, that is beginning to develop in you. So I want you to be continuing to think about how you're a leader, not just with your students, but with your grade level members or your department members at your school site, even within your district. So just think about leadership in a larger capacity, because some of you will go on to be district leaders. And so I want you to be thinking about that. What might that look like in your life and in your career? Your discussion board is one posting this week, and the prompt reads like this. One of the very real truisms about leadership is that it can be lonely at the top and quite stressful. So you are asked to describe some of the ways that you as a leader manage stress in your life. And this might be, how do you manage stress in your classroom, with your students, with your coworkers? How do you manage stress with your family or your outside interests? I know that grading papers and getting grades in, and especially now at the end of the year, I'm sure all of you have felt that stress. So what do you do to alleviate that and manage it? So that is your only prompt for this week. I want to go over briefly the requirements for assignment 5. I think I said 6 earlier, but it's assignment 5, the leadership article or movie review, and your group presentation. So the directions are on Blackboard, as they always are, but I need you to make sure that you pull up the rubric before you turn in your work. The rubric goes into a lot more detail than the directions do, and it really breaks it down nicely. So once again, I think that you can use the headings of the rubric or parts of the headings to make your level 1 headings in your paper. So you're going to be asked to do a written summary of the article and comprehensively present these in a creative and engagement manner. It always asks for creative and engagement manner. You're going to do a written application of either that movie or that article to the Educational Leadership Today. So why did you pick that? What did you see about that that made you feel that that was a good representation of leadership, or a poor representation of leadership that you would not want to follow? You're also going to list the main points and the theme of either this article or movie that you chose. So it needs to be identifiable, engaging, creative, good transitions, and conclusion. Then you have in this piece also a multimedia presentation. And you are asked in the directions to have a minimum of 10 slides or frames in this presentation. You are going to want to integrate relevant pictures and or video clips within your presentation to boost the interest of your audience and enhance your overall product. That's right out of the direction page. It says to use the notes section below the slides or the audio to elaborate on the content. So I don't know how many of you have done a lot of slides or presentations, but I want to remind you in every class that you do something like this, that your slides are simply talking points. You are not going to put all your information into every slide. This is super important. You don't want something that you're just reading information to the audience. You want kind of like headings, and those headings are going to trigger the information that you want to present. That information that you would want to elaborate on were you delivering this in person would be in your notes section. So make sure that your slides are just main points, main ideas, presented in an engaging way, and that you would just use them as talking points or headings. You are also asked for online delivery techniques, such as the use of professional language and tone, vocal expressiveness, pace, clarity of speech, minimal use of filters, so that you make your presentation professional and compelling. So you want your speaker to sound polished and confident. This is something you might want to practice several times before you actually record it if you are using those online delivery techniques. But make sure that you look at that rubric, because it is asking you to do one or more parts of your presentation with one of you speaking. And then lastly, of course, we always have the APA guidelines and correct grammar and paper structure. I said this to many of you before, make sure that you have run your writing through some source for spelling and grammar. I'm not going to delineate those for you any longer as well. So I will just deduct points for spelling and grammar errors as well as APA. So I feel that at this point in time, most of you are very, very competent. You understand where to get the help that you need, all the resources. Pretty much everything you need is on Blackboard. So I do hope that you'll make good use of that. So again, that last assignment 5 is due on Wednesday, June 26th. As far as next week goes, I probably will not post a video because I won't have a lot to say to you. I won't have read your papers. There's no more papers to post for you, and I will be out of town. But I will have my computer with me. I can answer questions. I can give you feedback on whatever you need. I'll be looking at your discussion board entries, but most likely this will be my last video to you. So I want to wish all of you a very relaxing and enjoyable summer. I know some of you are traveling. Have a great trip and safe travels to you, and the best of luck in the rest of your courses. If I can ever be of any help to any of you, please feel free to email me or text me in the future with any questions that you might have. Have a great summer and a fabulous next school year.